All right, guys, we're back down here on the deck job. We got our materials delivered. Here's what we got going on. We got a little bit of water damage there. We got a little bit here. I ran a punch in there and it didn't go in very far. So I think what we're going to do in this case, this is the height of the old deck, and they had this awkward 4-inch step down. So we're going to raise it up. And so what we're going to do is we're going to come through and cut all this off. We're going to remove the flashing, if there is any. I don't see any flashing. Do you, Dawson? There's none on this side, but there is on this side.
Right here.
So we're going to come right on around the corner, and we're going to cut that siding off, and then we're going to replace the sheathing, put the sheathing on, and then we're going to put some waterproof membrane on there. And then when we go to attach the rim joist, we're going to bring this down across like this, Dawson. See it?
Yep.
We're going to bring it down over so that this doesn't happen again. Yep. What we got, this foundation is about 20 years old. It's an addition. We got a sill gasket. We got a treated probably 2x8 or 10. And then we got probably a 2x10 skirt board. We come over here, nothing's treated sitting on block. It does have a gasket in there, so that got a little water damage right away. These doors, they tend to drip and run right down here, and here's a little damage. Here's where it runs out here. There's a little damage here, so it's probably from the door. They've talked about replacing this door, so we're thinking if we replace the door, we'll put a pan flashing and bring that down over the decking. So today what we're going to do is our first day to start. I shouldn't say our first day, but our second day. Our first day, Dawson cut that stuff off, and then I hauled in gravel. We put that in here to get the water to run away from the house. But right now, we're going to run some concrete up through here and plug these holes up so we don't get ants and so on in there, and get this waterproofed. And then we'll put the gravel back and tamp it down. This is hard. We use crusher run. That's hard stuff. So water's going to run right off from this, and we pitched it across this way. So all the water that comes off this roof should end up over there. And then that's it. We're just going to get started and start cutting all this out. So water stop cement hydraulic. What we're going to do is we're going to smush it in there. We're going to trowel it in, use our hands, and then we're going to paintbrush it just to smooth it out. And it'll go into cracks and swell and prevent any kind of water from getting in the basement. So our flashing, in one spot we could reach up, and it goes up quite a ways. We got to get that out of there. We can't leave that in there. Our new flashing we want in there, but we also want to get to that rotten plywood right there because it's gotten wet. I want to cut it straight and put on new plywood. So I came up and I made a cut here, and there's no way we're going to get these removed by reaching up under and pulling. We're just going to break the wood. The nail will stay. Then we won't be able to slide our new one in. So I'm going to try to, show the homeowner that we really should replace the siding. If you look down through here, there's a lot of them that are, almost all of them are cupped and warped, and, it's not a good material. It's a rustic look, but I don't like it, They just don't stay tight. So I'm going to finish cutting that right across there. I'm going to get all that out. I want to see what the sheathing is. And then over here, we got to cut the corner boards out. And this is where the deck height is going to be. And I want to pitch the deck down. Now you can see the rotted plywood here. I want to come up at least to here and cut and put new plywood in. And if we do the door, we can put new material to the bottom of the door edge there. All right, I got them removed. And I got the nails removed up to here. Got a lot of water damage here. So because it's in 2 strips, I'm going to go ahead and just remove the bottom. We'll put new plywood from there down. I mixed up the hydraulic cement and filled the gaps. That swells right up. It hardens in like 15 minutes. And now there's no way ants and critters can get in there. And I want to take that whole strip of plywood off. I want to run a new one right up behind the door and come down a 1/2 inch or more over the block. That way no water could ever get in there if you wanted it to. So we're just going to go around and do all the fixing on this. Well, they had this plywood all pieces here. See that? So the bottom piece right straight across. You can see the sag in that door pretty bad. So if we pull the door and put a new one in, we can shim up and, fix the base. They probably have problems shutting that right now. But I want to get we pulling all the nails out, we're going to get the sheathing all the way up under the door. So then we can flash down in front of that, and it'll be nice and waterproofed, you know. Our cement's drying up nice, and it's looking good here. We did, Dawson. Did good for a couple hours here. We got that all done. We got all our sheathing off. Now we can put all fresh new pieces in there. Then we can we can flash up underneath everything, and then we're going to put our band joist on, and then we're going to flash over the top of that. I'll bend some aluminum in the brake at home, bring it down. We're going to be using this Trex with hidden fasteners, and we got some solids, and we got some grooved, and Dawson did the inventory, so I'm not sure how that's going to work, but hopefully we got enough material to get her going. We got some 2x12s we're going to be using for some stringers, and we got some 2x10 floor joists. And this is going to be pretty rugged, but it was bouncing before, and it was kind of rotten, and I told them we need to do something better. The joists were running this way. They should have been running the shorter way, or beef them up. But it was bouncing pretty good. It had about an inch deflection. Had one post that was rotted. No other post, just one post that was in the ground about 16 inches. And so we got to do better. And we're probably going to be replacing some siding on here.